What's going on, guys? Chuck back with part two of this awesome Blu-ray purchase, the Star Trek edition, if you will. And this time I'm going to take a look at the individual films of the original series that were released in 4K. Now, I know some history, or a little back up. Not too long ago, there was I guess a box set release of the first four films in 4K in Blu-ray. But I know a lot of people bought that up right away. And myself, I did not jump on that because I'm like, why is it only four films? There are six films in the original series. Why are you only doing the four? That seems kind of strange. Suspect, if you will. So I just waited it out. And I have all these films in there. As I explained the part one, you see the DVD I had of the motion picture. I had the same set for all the Star Trek films up through Nemesis. They're all in that set, that uniform set, which is, well, I really like those collector sets. So I just kind of waited out. And then I saw, not long after that, kind of the big news that they're putting that motion picture out, and that complete adventure set, what you saw in part one, and then the all six original series films putting out in 4K, along with a new box set with all six of them, as opposed to the box set with all four. Now, that's not screwy. I don't know what is. And a lot of people are upset about that, and rightfully so. It's like, why would you just put out a box set of only four when you knew you were going to release all six? Why not just wait it out the next couple months and just put out the one set for all six instead of tricking or fooling people into buying just their four, and then put out, oh look, you can buy the other ones and not match that, or just scrap that and buy a whole new set of the same thing, except we're adding two more movies in it. We're going to change a little artwork, and that's no. So that's one of the reasons why I waited, and I'm glad I did. So on top of that, I had the choice: do I buy the box set of the six films, or do I buy them individually? I mean, I was kind of back and forth on that. I mean, ideally individual, or you buy the box set, it's a space saver. But what I don't like about it, judging from what I saw, and the original Blu-ray of these six films, because it's basically the same set. They just upgraded to 4K, and but it's that same set. Same thing with the 4K releases of the first four films. It's basically it's a open up. It's a set with the disc inside, like two sets, and that's it. Just a disc, nothing fancy. But that was hard for me because I've always loved the Star Trek poster art, especially for the first six films. They were just fantastic poster. I've always loved them. When I was a kid, I actually make drawings of those posters myself. Not great, but I love them because I thought it was such great artwork, and I really wanted to have that. And you buy that box set, you kind of don't get that. So again, it comes down to preference. Practicality, probably would have went the box set, but if anybody knows me, when it comes to Blu-ray, sometimes I want to go with my heart over practicality, and I went with the individual sets to get those. So let's just. Enough of me blabbing about that. Let's get into these. So the first one I picked up, well, obviously, I got the motion picture Blu-ray. Now, this one is not 4K. This was, interesting because, you see, I do have the 4K because I bought the complete adventure set, the box set in the first video. So I thought, well, I'll buy the individual disc. Blu-ray 4K combo, and I have it because that way I'm not trying to get disc out of that set all the time. I can leave it kind of pristine. I have this to go to watch. Well, for whatever reason, because the rest of these are all 4K Blu-rays, this film is sold separately as a 4K or a Blu-ray. I don't know why they did that, but yeah, you can get this. Like I said, this is just the Blu-ray digital code of the Director's Edition and the theatrical cut, but you can also get the 4K version with the Director's Edition and the theatrical cut. They're not combined into a 4K Blu-ray combo, just one or the other. So that's kind of weird. But so I got the Blu-ray. I do have a 4K, and you see here the newly discovered deleted scenes and footage. Now, again, as I mentioned in the previous video, I don't know if that's stuff included in, added to the director's edition from what it was previously, or if it's just like bonus features. My guess is on bonus features, which are on here. So here's the back of this. Get that glare off there, I'm sorry. And actually, I'm going to take the slip cover off and pretty much same stuff there. And then you got nothing. But you got once again, your Robert Wise note about the director's edition, and then your Blu-ray. This is the director's edition Blu-ray, and on this side you've got the theatrical cut. And as I said before, the longer television version is only available in that complete adventure set, and that's in 4K. So you won't get that on the individual disc. Not even the 4K individual disc has the longer television version. That's only on that collector set. And it's with not being the 4K, it kind of takes away from the uniformity of the rest of these titles, but that's okay. It's still pretty cool. So next up, and this one's not I'm gonna say it's my favorite Star Trek, but I think it's a lot of people's favorite Star Trek. But this one's me because this is the first time I saw anything of Star Trek. Was Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. My aunt took me to the theater to see it. I had no idea what Star Trek was. Didn't know anything about it. I had not watched a TV show at that point. Didn't even know it was a TV show. I just knew it was this movie. I wasn't even phased that it was 2. I wasn't worried about part 1. This was like 82, so that would have put me at 7 years old when this came out. And I was blown away. This was such a fun movie. And of course, when it came out on HBO, it was all the time on HBO. So, like most things were at that time. So I watched it over and over. So this is like the movies ingrained in my memory, and as is most people, I'm sure. It was actually funny because not long after this came out in theaters, the Motion Picture was put on ABC. So I got to see that in the television version, a 2-night event on ABC, which is funny that the thing that they would make that a 2-night event. That was something they did a lot with movies back then. Like Superman, the movie was a 2-night event. King Kong was a 2-night event. So they're stretching out to put more commercials on it. And that's also when they would add more television footage, hence the television cut of the motion picture. But so this was the first time I'd heard of Star Trek or anything about Star Trek. Was this movie. I loved it. And of course, this contains the director's cut and the theatrical cut, which I did get to see the director's cut in the theater for one of its anniversaries. I know this came back in theaters right now for its 4th anniversary. But a couple years ago, probably for its 35th anniversary, 30th or 35th when it came out, I'm not sure. Fan Events showed it, and I got to see the director's cut in the theater, so it was a lot of fun to watch again. Here's your back of this. Again, this is the Blu-ray 4K, and I love that these films from here they have the quotes from the movie in here, and this is "Revenge is a dish best served cold." It's a horrible, horrible rendition of that line, but you get it. Which is a great line from this movie, of so many good lines. Unfortunately, they won't pick great lines for these as we go for all these we go down the line here. Again, we get a close up of your special features. Now I had to go in and check because it doesn't really say. It's mentioned like the Blu-ray only features on here, and other features. But I'm wondering. I'm pretty sure they probably are porting over a lot of the features were on those collector's DVD sets from back in the day. So here's your ad for the box set to get all 6, even though you're buying the individual discs. So there's your 4K and your Blu-ray. And there's not really much to these other than, there's like no reverse artwork, nothing like that. Just the slipcover. But, I get the black really pops with this image. Actually, all these, it looks really good. So the 4K, black 4K packaging looks really good with the Star Trek images. So, next, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. And this, again, the silver or the 4K, this imagery, it really pops in this, all this. So this is great. This one, I remember after seeing 2, I was just, what's going to happen? What comes next? And I remember when the ads for this came out, and of course gave away the whole Enterprise ending in the commercials and trailer, which was just, why would you do that? But I remember seeing this at the drive-in as a kid. I can't remember too many details about it. I remember seeing it, and of course it's like one of the first novelizations I ever read of Star Trek was Star Trek 3 by Vonda and McIntyre, which is her like 2, 3, 4 trilogy of novels. So they're great movie adaptations. I highly recommend them if you've never read them. And I also remember Taco Bell had glasses. They sold glasses for these movies, collectible glasses, and that shattered immediately because I had one of the Enterprise blowing up, and it was a really cool glass, and then you wash it and it shattered. But so here's your special features on that. Be careful what you wish for is a quote, and that seems like there's like so many other quotes they could have chosen. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to draw a blank right now, but I'm thinking that why that one? That seems kind of. I can think of a few other ones. You Klingon bastard, you've killed my son. But I don't think they put it on there. But it's a better line than "Be careful what you wish for," or Genesis, Genesis, Planet Forbidden, something along those lines. But be careful what you wish for. So there it is, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Off the heels of that, you get Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. And again, this poster artwork that they have on here really pops with the 4K black and silver. I absolutely love it. I'm from Iowa. I only work in outer space. That's funny. I like that one. That's a good one. Here's your features. Again, pretty much the same. Same as the back. They're really hyping the box set, even though you're buying individual discs. They want you to buy that box. And here's your 4K and your Blu-ray. And again, it's over 2 hours of additional features that they're not mentioning. So I'm pretty sure, from the sounds of it, that they're porting everything over from those 2 discs. Or actually, they weren't all 2 discs, excuse me, but those special collector's edition DVDs that initially came out years and years ago, probably late 90s. Mid to late 90s. So Generations came out in 94. So yeah, somewhere in the late 90s when those started coming out. So yeah. And then one that's very divisive, Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, the William Shatner directed film. I like Star Trek V. I think it's fun. Is it the best of these films? No, it's not. But there's something about it that I really, really enjoy. I think it's the dynamic of Spock, Kirk, and McCoy is really good in this one. It feels, it's a big focus. I think, more so than the other one. I mean, obviously there's a focus, in Search for Spock and Wrath of Khan. But I think in this one, you get to see the lighter side, sometimes maybe too light. But I really like it. I think it's, in some ways, that is sweet. The campfire scenes are a little goofy, but they're sweet, and I enjoy them. The whole, I know when I die, I'll die alone. Which is kind of prophetic in some ways, if you know your Star Trek history. But it's not as bad a film as people let on to be. It could have been better, sure. There's a whole story of what William Shatner wanted to do with the climax of the rock monsters. Will that have panned out? I don't know. It's hard to say. But you've got to, I think it's also because everybody gets a shine, good or bad. They have, some good moments. The Uhura Sky thing, not so much. I think Lawrence Luckinbill as Cybok is interesting. Interesting character, if not a bit of, hard to take canonically, if you will. But then again, look what Discovery's done with Spock and his family. They apparently have kids all over the place. Sarek has, adopted kids, half kids, whatever. So who knows? Let's see. See, another. We need all the power you can muster, Mister. The quote that should have been on there is, "Why does God need?" Or what does God need with a spaceship? Or whatever. That's the quote they should have had. Not. That's just, they really missed out. Yeah, that's the classic line. What does God need with a spaceship or starship? Excuse me. So yeah, they really missed it on that one. But whatever. So here's special features. Again, front, back, all the same. Same thing here. And of course, on the back of these is also the digital code. I'm not sharing, but just so you know, there's 4K Blu-ray disc. All the same. And this, out of all these, no, okay, I haven't seen 4 in the theater either. So and this one I didn't see in the theater, but I remember going to the drive-in as a kid. I believe, I want to say I was watching 976 Evil and looking out the back window at the other screen and watching Star Trek 5 without hearing it. I was just watching the visuals, but I didn't actually see it till I was on VHS. But that's just a weird memory, and I don't know why we were seeing 976 Evil. I think we're seeing something. I think it was a second feature. There's something before that. I don't remember. It was 1989. It's a long time ago. And last, but not least, Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country, which is a fantastic, I think, send-off for the original crew. This one I did get to see in the theater, and it was a lot of fun to watch. For those that don't know, the ending of this is, I don't want to say copied, that's not the right word, but lovingly homaged at the end of Avengers Endgame with the autograph. All the main Avengers doing their autographs at the end of the credits. That was started here. That's the original crew did that at the end credits, which was a fantastic send-off. I really like that. I don't think it's any secret. I think the directors even mentioned they were inspired by this one to do that with Avengers Endgame. And this includes also the theatrical and director's cut. And I believe that this is the first time that the theatrical cut has actually been released on home video. Because it's, as far as I know, even on, it may have been on VHS, I'm not sure. But I know that most of the home video versions was always the director's cut with the extra scenes but never the theatrical cut that I can recall. I could be wrong on that. I'm not sure. Because I think even that DVD, the collector sets, was only the special longer director's cut. I don't think they have both versions of that film on there. So I could be mistaken on that. But I believe it's the first time the director's cut has been put on home, or excuse me, the theatrical cut has been on home video. It's always been pretty much primarily Nicholas Meyer's director's cut, which has a couple extra scenes, mostly involving co-conspirators in the crime, if you will. But this is a great movie. You get Christopher Plummer as a Klingon, which is amazing. David Warner making his second consecutive Star Trek movie, as he was in Star Trek 5, playing a human. But Klingon Shakespeare, fantastic. A bird of prey cannot fire when she's cloaked. How about you've never experienced Shakespeare until you've heard of the original Klingon, or something along those lines? This is a lame quote. I didn't even read the quote for Star Trek 4. Yes, I did. Okay, but that's a lame quote. I think that should have been a better quote. So they really missed the mark on these quotes on the back of this, which is a shame. So there's your special features. Again, I'll have to look at that great poster art. Again, same. Open it up. Flyer, digital code on the back of this. Blu-ray, 4K disc. All pretty standard uniform stuff. So that is it. That is all 6. If I can get them out here. 4. I'm trying. Here it is. Yeah. all 6 of the original series Star Trek films, 4K, except for the motion picture, which is just the Blu-ray and digital. I'm looking forward to checking these out. Of course, this is the first time I've had these even on Blu-ray. So I'm excited about that because I only had those DVD versions. I hadn't had any reason to upgrade. I know they obviously put these on Blu-ray sets, but I didn't. I wasn't compelled to pick those up. Mostly, I just didn't like the artwork. I mean, that sounds lame. But I thought they were really just bad. Again, those collector sets actually had the movie posters on them, and they were just done so nice. And I don't know if those Blu-rays had all the features. They probably did, but nothing compelled me to really want to get those. But when these came out, besides the fact that they were 4K, and I knew again, prepare for the future. But these were the first chance to get them on Blu-ray, and they're going to come in the nice sets, and look, with the artwork and everything, and just look nice and uniform on the shelf. This way. I said, what the heck? I gotta spring forward and do it. And I'm glad I did. I do love Star Trek a lot. Again, Star Trek 2. I have almost every Star Trek series on DVD and or Blu-ray. Although I only have season 1 of Discovery. I haven't really focused on New Trek, if you will. The Kelvin universe, which isn't bad, I guess. I'm willing to take it. That's the whole other timeline. It's a whole other Star Trek, whatever. I'm not gonna I hate it so much, but it's not. It's hit and miss. I think those movies are. The first one was better than I thought it would be. The second one is just a disappointment, and then the third one, I was rather pleased with Into Darkness, and I think. Or no, excuse me, that was not Into Darkness. That was Star Trek Beyond, excuse me. That one, Into Darkness is the one that kind of ticked me off, and a lot of people, which is a shame. That's probably why Star Trek Beyond didn't do very well, because people were burned on Into Darkness. And, that's a whole other story for another time. I've watched the first 2 seasons of Discovery. It's okay, it's enjoyable. But I just can't, there's certain parts I just can't really get into it, I like Picard. A lot of people don't care for it. I enjoyed it. There's a lot of things that they've done with Star Trek that I'm not a fan of. I don't see the point in throwing in random F-bombs in Star Trek. That just doesn't make any sense. But whatever. I'm not in charge of anything. I'm just buying Blu-rays. But anyways, I'm really glad. I do love these original series films. I'm glad to get them in these sets. I'm glad Motion Picture got the treatment it deserves, because it's a very underappreciated film, in my opinion, in this series. Is it the best? No. But I think it's, again, my opinion. But I think it's definitely deserves more than what it gets sometimes. And I think a lot of people come around to that film. Again, as you grow older, your tastes change. You learn to appreciate things better. And I think a lot of fans who are younger, who've grown up, and and kind of turn around in retrospect and realize how good the motion picture is, and what it wanted to be, and what it tried to be. And again, without it, you have nothing else. So you with nothing else, you have the motion picture to thank for Star Trek going forward. Because Star Trek was dead for the most part until the motion picture came out and kind of breathed new life into it. Was it full life? No, but it was on life support. It was not life support. It had a heartbeat after a motion picture. And then with Star Trek 2, it really was revived. And is still managing to this day, as is apparent by, releasing these and the constant, still TV shows and that are being produced currently. Was Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, which I've heard good things about, but I have not had a chance to check out. And, Lower Decks and whatever other Paramount Plus Star Trek shows are out there. So, it's alive and kicking. and hopefully it'll make it to the 23rd or 24th century. So, okay, that's enough rambling for me. I've gone on way too long. This is the end of a 2-part Star Trek adventure through Blu-ray and 4K. So, with that said, if you enjoyed these, click the thumbs up, share, subscribe. Leave me a comment below. Let me know if you picked up these sets individually. Did you pick up the box set? Did you pick up the box set when it was only a 4-film set before it was a 6-film set? How pissed off were you? Did you, what are your thoughts, on Star Trek in general? I mean, what's your favorite Star Trek film? What got you into Star Trek? What's your history with it? Yeah, I told you mine was Star Trek 2 and Ricardo's huge, Montalbans. I don't know. It's late. Nevertheless, that is it for now. So until next time, this is Chuck, and I will see you on the other side. Live long and prosper.